So I'm going to hit record. So hello and welcome to our next webinar series for New Jersey City University's Department of Educational Technology and our spring lineup. We're here tonight with Michelle, who's a member of our cohort 8 in the doctoral program of New Jersey City University's Educational Technology and Leadership. And she's got a dynamic session planned for us today. I am Dr. Samantha Bana, and I am the graduate assistant for the department. I'll be helping Michelle this evening monitor the chat. So if you have any questions for her as she's presenting, please feel free to jot your questions into the chat and we'll let her know. She'll also be, jumping back and forth in the chat as well to review any queries that come up so that way she can answer them. And then we'll have about 5 minutes toward the end of her presentation where she'll also be able to jump back and answer any questions that you have. And then without further ado, I'm going to turn it on over to Michelle so she can begin her presentation this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Bana. So I'm Michelle Zagovic. It's really nice to see everybody. I'm a technology coach in Warren Township Schools. I've been there since 1998. I love technology, just like all of you. And I am enrolled in the doctoral program at NJCU. Really enjoying it so far. So if you're not part of the program, you might want to look into it. But I think most importantly, everybody's here to figure out how to use Google Drawings, or maybe you already know how to use them, but to use them in creative and fun ways. A lot of people like that gamification component to get the kids really active and involved, because I think this year, especially with hybrid learning, at least our district was hybrid, and now finally we're back full time. It was hard to keep the kids engaged when they were home, and to find things that would turn them on to learning, and to keep their intention, get them really stoked about what they were doing. So I hope some of the things I have to share with you are going to be helpful for you. And I'm going to be putting the website in the chat field. So that way, if you would like to refer to it at any time, you're welcome to go there. I just posted it for you. And that's basically the presentation today. I'm going to go through each of the parts of the website. Instead of a slide deck, I like Google Sites. And of course, if you have questions, feel free to jot them in the chat. Dr. Bana will be watching, and she'll, like, if it's something pressing, she'll be like, hey, wait, stop. And I'll stop and address whatever it is you want help with. But at the end, I'm going to try to do a 5-minute little tip session, and get your questions and help you out with them. Okay, are we ready? Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go. Is everybody able to see the screen? I'm hoping that's a yes. Okay. Put in the chat field if you're not able to see it. All right.
We can see it.
All right, perfect. All right, so this is Google Drawings for gamification and for creativity. I did a little bit of about me. I'll just really quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but if you need to know or interested a little bit about my background, it's all here for you. And you can find me in a couple little social media places, little like Twitter, I don't know if anybody uses that, but you could also email me at these locations as well. But let's get on to the meat of it. So we're talking about Google Drawings. If you've never seen Google Drawings before, it's a plain white canvas that is hosted in Google Drive. And when you create your drawing, you actually can, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you can download your drawings in different media types. So there's PDF, PNG, JPEGs, and even if you're into the GIFs and stuff, the animation, the SVG file types. The options with Google Drawings are limitless. We are going to be looking at a lot of samples first. I'm going to take you through a lot of student samples and methods on how to use them. And then I'll go into the program and I'll show you really quickly how to use it. And then we'll take a look at the gamification component of it as well. So if you've never seen Google Drawings, I don't know if you realize, and I will go into Google Drive real quick just to show you. I'm going to share it with me. But you go into New. And for some reason, I don't know why, Google does not list it in the top 4. But if you go down to More, it is the top one. So you can find Google Drawings pretty quickly and easily, but you have to realize it's hidden in the more section. So some of us are so busy, we never have a chance to do the more. So hopefully you'll get a chance to swing on over there. So I'm going to look at creativity first. We're going to take a look at some student samples just to give you an idea of things you can do with drawings. What I've done is I've embedded some student samples over here, and I'm just going to explain to you what these were used for briefly. So each of these drawings took about 2 or 3 work sessions to get the research needed to create the drawings. So when I was teaching 6th grade social studies, we did the student as an Assyrian warrior. So this was Claire. And she decided the requirements for this were she had to put in a picture of herself as an Assyrian warrior. Then she had to label components. And I didn't tell the kids what they had to label. I just said, you're a warrior. You have to identify 7 elements of your gear and tell me about them, and then list your sources. And the sources had to be hyperlinked. So this is a sample from a 6th grade student. This is a sample from a 5th grade student on advertisements, just so you realize too, as we go through, these little boxes here, if you're not familiar with Google Sites, are these expand windows or pop-out windows, so you can always see more if you click on it. And this opens up what's called a preview pane in Google. So it gives you like a preview mode, but if you want to see the full, oh, I think I put this version in the trash. Well, that's okay. I'll take it out of the trash later. But if you want to see the full version of it, you have to, up at the very, very top, I'm going to show you, you have to open it in the program. It only shows you the image itself or the drawing itself, not things that might be on the side. So let me see if I can show you a sample of that. It keeps coming down. Hold on. Yeah. There it goes. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I keep scrolling up a little too far. There it goes. All right. Digital posters are great. I've had students make posters where they study a famous leader. Clearly, I was doing social studies before I was like a full-time tech coach, and then I was doing a little bit of social studies and tech coaching, but you can see I was going over like ancient times. I'm like, oh, we studied some great leaders. I said, make movie posters for these leaders and take some contemporary people, actors, famous actors, and crop their headshots in there, and then put a caption at the bottom. You're also going to see as we go through, just another side note, see this hyperlink right here? I took all of our material that I had screencasts on, and I hyperlinked them through the website, so that way you can use this. You can use this to for yourself if you want to learn how to use the program. You can you can use these with your students if you're like, well, I don't have time to make screencasts on this stuff, but here's somebody who's going to teach you how to do it, and you can literally. So it sounds like you're going. This one was a where I taught students with the American Revolution. I had them layer. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you that you can do in Google Drawings is you can actually layer components, and the kids, I actually teach them in this screencast how to do from scratch all the way up through the layering process and all these elements. So I teach in Warren Township, so Washington Rock is a very popular place, and of course was famous during Revolutionary times. So I used this on that half of the screen, and then I took an actual, I actually did like a split screen background, and then I incorporated these other elements here. You can see even there's like a tent with a camper. And sometimes when you show kids samples like this, they get inspired. They're like, oh, I didn't know I can do something like that. That's so that it makes it kind of a little bit more engaging. Here's the directions on the left-hand side. And then here's, of course, sources. So I'm going to go back to the, here we go. Here's an example of a flowchart. Flowcharts can be presented in many different ways. I'm actually going to show you different samples of flowcharts, but This one was a make me a mummy flowchart that I did with 6th graders. And I'll show you different interpretations of that. But again, Google Drawings is really cool in that it allows kids to be really authentic. They're, you know, what one sees in their mind as make me a mummy and what are the steps, and how they visually present that can differ a great deal. So, so flowcharts are really awesome. And again, don't be afraid to expand it. And then see where it says open with Google Drawings? I'm going to show you here. This one doesn't have any directions on the side, but you can see in greater detail what's going on. So unfortunately, I was supposed to take her name out. I think I forgot to take her name out, but you guys won't tell me. I'll have to get rid of that name later. First names are okay, but last names we try to avoid for student confidentiality. By the way, that's a good point. If you have students doing any work for you that you plan on showcasing, I recommend asking them just to use their first name. Or initials, if you prefer, if you have class periods and initials. That way, if you decide you want to post them on Twitter and be like, hey guys, look at some great stuff we've been doing. You can do that more easily. This was a big event breakdown. So you might have in history, or keep in mind, this is applicable to any topic. You might have some sort of historic event, and you can see this is cut off, and I'm going to show you why. This, what happens is when you have an image that's created in Google Drawings, so I'm going to click open with Google Drawings up here, the student laid some of the information off of the canvas. So what they needed to do was a couple different things. What they could have done was go to File, and they could have done Page Setup. And over here in Page Setup, they could, I think there's different, I think it comes over as standard at first as the default, but I'm not 100%. I have to remember. But if you do custom, you can actually set this at, you know, if you're going to print it, 8.5 by 11, right? And then it's the size of printer paper. Or if you feel like it's something you want to put on a website, or if it's something, you know, that you're really focused on the quality of the image, you would pick pixels. Actually good to know if you're doing like photos, if you're adding like a bio photo, like a square photo of yourself, like a profile picture, you would pick pixels, and you would do like a 400 by 400, for example. So that's good to know. So what happened is this student went in and they took this image and they downloaded it as a PNG, and I recommend PNG because that's an image file that has more dots per inch than your JPEGs, so it's better quality. So when they downloaded it, it only grabbed what was on the canvas space. So the kids need to know that it's only going to take the canvas. Anything outside of it in this gray area on the sides, it's not going to download. And the reason for that is actually great, because when you upload something to a website, or, you know, whatever you want to, you know, maybe to Google Docs, or whatever you're uploading your image to, you don't want the notes on the side. You just want what's on the canvas. Another way that kids could really easily fix it, though, is you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this drag and drop feature. So you can expand the canvas like that and move things in. So I included the sample on purpose just to show you a little bit of troubleshooting, but the layers were, you know, choose an event in the French Revolution and identify components. And you can see that there's a lot of layering that's going on, and they have to point at certain things. Okay, so now, and you can see, explain the significance, okay, right there. Here we go. So now these are charts and graphs. It's probably obvious to you that you might want to use charts and graphs in your with Google Drawings. What I did with this is I had the kids lay out the population of France, and then I said, okay, which estates make up which percents of the population? You can see that the king and queen are at the very, very top of the pyramid, whereas your noblemen or royal court are 0.5%, your priests are 1.5, and then you have your third estate commoners and bourgeoisie. But the thing is that they don't really understand what that means. So I had to explain, out of a group of 100 people, what is 0.5? Well, maybe none, maybe one. Out of a room of 200 people, there's your one nobleman. But we also talked about how this is inaccurate. So I like what's called discrepant information. So this is actually an inaccurate representation of the population. If you were to break down a triangle, it wouldn't look like this in a 0.5%. It would be a teeny tiny layer right there. And then a 1.5 would be a teeny layer right here, but the majority would be 98%. So it's a good teaching moment to do discrepant events, discrepant images. I love to bring in like things where sometimes I just tell the kids like, oh yeah, look at this picture. Isn't this great? And I wait for the kids to tell me something's wrong. And then if they don't find it, I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong, and see if they can figure it out. It's really cool for them to try to investigate like that. So keep in mind, any of these samples you can apply to any subject area. You can identify and label in pretty much, science. You could do, advertisements using, terms of, vocab words. You could do digital posters, for a math skill, it's flowcharts, timelines, whatever. The options are really endless. I put a link to a sample drawing folder right here. I think I promised you we would look at sample flow charts. So if you go into diagrams and charts, I picked some, and you can just see some examples here of things students have done. These are like cross sections of the Nile River. So I was like, oh, go, if you're at the Nile River, what are some things you might see? And the kids went through, they put the backdrop and then they layered the things on top. I'm a big fan of layering, as you can tell. Oops, I think I got out of that. Okay, and then here's where they broke down an amphitheater, a Greek amphitheater, and they identified, again, all these. And this one I said, put Post-it notes on. I want you to give me facts or Post-its of the amphitheater and the dramas that went on within. So that was kind of cool to look at. So feel free to peruse through here. Oh, the flow charts, I think I told you. Here's another concept of Make Me a Mummy, just to give you an idea. And one of the things I really love to do with Google Drawings is that, and you'll see it later, is I like to put all of their drawings up in a slide deck, or, if you have right now with the, virtual learning, you would want to put it in a virtual space. So Google Slides is a great place to do that because it's really easy, and I can show you how to do that later. Because we're supposed to do even though we're in the classroom, it's still like 6 feet of distance because of the CDC guidelines. So you still want to do things in a virtual manner. So these are just different ways the kids have portrayed the Make Me a Mummy. So
Michelle,
yes.
I just want to interrupt you a moment. You have a question in the chat.
Okay, great. Let me see. Let me hold on a second.
So the question in the chat is, where would I be able to locate the Google Drawings tool? So if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So to locate the Google Drawing tool, what you do is you just open a tab, you go to your Google Drive. Yeah, I'm sure you all go to your Google Drive like constantly throughout the day. And you go to the new button here, like you're going to create something. And there's docs, there's sheets, there's slides, there's forms, and Google Drawings is hiding in the more section right there. So when we click on it, I'll just show you real quick, just give you a quick tour of Google Drawings since we're here. Obviously, you want to title everything you do, right? So sample, rainy day sample. And then here is your file, okay? And when you're done with your drawing, you want to do a download as PNG is my recommendation for probably a lot of the things you're going to do. And we'll take a look at that. Another thing you might want to do is the page setup. So, yep, standard. So it comes through as standard, but you can customize it using your inches, which is, 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5 if you want to go landscape, or pixels are my two favorites. So hopefully that helps. A couple other things if we want to take a quick tour. Image right here, insert image. You can upload things, obviously, anything from, Google images that you might have downloaded, or any images you might have, pictures you've taken from family vacations. Like if I click upload, I don't even know what's going to come up, but oh, here, cool text. I'm going to show you cool text later if we have time. You can see it's burning. Yay, that's what makes it cool. And then you can search the web right here. So if I want to do rainy day, and I can take this and oops, let me move ourselves. I wanted to move the bar. Here we go. Insert. Every now and then you get this message that says unable to create. What that means is usually these pictures are what's known as like copyright free, right? So if it's here in Google, whether it's in slides, in docs, in drawings, wherever, all of these images are supposed to be copyright free, fair use pictures. So you don't have to worry about using it and your students using these pictures. That being said, every now and then, sometimes the permissions are wrong, or it's not copyright free, or the picture's been removed by the user. And in those cases, you'll get this error message. So now I have a rainy day picture over here, and just guys, this bar. I'm used to doing Google Meets. That's why you're like, why are you struggling with Zoom? Because Zoom's not my thing. So I'm just gonna. So see how I have this picture and I'm like, oh no, I can't. If I want to center it, I can right click and do center on the page horizontally. I'll show you that again because there's a lot of, I can rotate it, right? Here's the order. This is what I'm getting at. What if I send it to the back and now cool text is on the top? And look, I have a burning fire on top of my rainy day. And there's a lot of other cool tools that I want to save for our badge section, but here's your text boxes, your shapes, all of your basic tables, lines if you want to draw arrows. Okay, there's your arrow tool. And again, I have tons of this kind of stuff in those screencasts. Here's the line weight right here, so you can make it nice and fat. Here's your line color. And then I can take this little, oops, I just drew another arrow. When in doubt, undo, Control Z, right? So make sure it's clicked on the cursor so I can take this and I can toggle it around and be like, oh, look at my cool text. I can make it dotted. I can change the arrow points. There's look at all these tools. Great stuff, right? You can hyperlink it. You can make comments on it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anything else here that I want to show you? No, I'm going to save the rest of it though for the badges. So let me go back here. All right, let's move on because I don't want to get stuck. All right, tips and templates. So for tips and templates, I'm going to try to show you this real quick. This was a crawfish lab I did with third graders. The science teachers wanted to make a crawfish lab for students. I said, well, let's do one virtually using Google Drawings. And when you open with Google, you can see all of the instructions on the right and left-hand sides. So what you're going to do for the students is if you create something like this in Google Drawings first, then you can take it and send it to your kids through Google Classroom, right? But make a copy for each student. So when you make a copy for each student, they have this exact copy. They're going to have all of your directions. They're going to have your hyperlinks to helpful websites that help them find information, right? And then when they're done, they can turn it in as is if you want, or if you want just the picture, they can download just the PNG, which would just be, again, that canvas. And so the kids basically layered on here food sources, natural predators, random facts, and I showed them how to, and I named mine Schnookums. But my daughter's like, what is wrong with you? Sorry, Emily. So, so this is a screencast on how to create a Google Drawing template for you. So if you decide you want to make your own template, kind of like what I had as Schnooks, you can just hit play and, hey guys, and I'll take you straight through the when you're in Google Classroom, you click on create, you make your assignment, and then how to find, actually, it's really, if I could just click right to it, it's right, see where it says create right there? When you click on that, it actually gives you the option to create a drawing. And if you click on create drawing right there and create your template in Google Classroom, as opposed to adding it and making a copy, do it here, what it allows you to do is you can see live student progress on it, even if you don't have like a GoGuardian or Hapara or spyware like that. You can still see your students' progress as they go. I think actually now they added the capability that if you make a copy for each student, I think I think you can still see the live progress anyway. So, but sometimes it's cool just if you're in a pinch just to do it right here in Classroom. You don't have to do it and attach it separately. So that's a good tip. Here, if you go further down, you're going to see this is a student sample. And again, feel free to expand anything you want. That was their crayfish lab, crayfish, crawfish, whatever you want to say. This is the directions I gave to students. So maybe you want to do a crawfish lab and you're like, oh, I want to do that, but I don't want to show my students how to do it. Well, take this screencast and I can show your kids how to do it. It's fine. Okay. I don't care. Use whatever you want. Anything in here is for you, and you pick and choose whatever you want. Rubrics. In Google Classroom, there are rubrics now. I don't know if you realize that, but here's where I made a screencast to show kids what I was scoring them on. You want to make grading as easy for yourself as possible. So when it comes to Google Drawings, I recommend using this brief category for a rubric. Just, did you follow the directions? Were you creative? Does it look like you had fun with this? How's your content? Did you put actual facts in there? Does it showcase you researched? And do you care about your grammar? That's pretty much all I look for, because we are so inundated when it comes to grading right now. Try to make it as easy on yourself as possible. If you're not sure how to make a rubric in Google Classroom, here's a screencast on how to do that. And again, I'll take you through all of the steps on creating your rubric in Google Classroom. And you're probably like, this is how she gets a bazillion tabs. Yep, that's what happens. You too, right? Everybody's got the tab issue. The kids are like, why do you have so many tabs? Yeah, they make fun of us. Anyway, there actually, there's a couple things called, and you probably have heard of it before, where they call it a app smash, or in this case, I call it a mashup, but it doesn't matter, whatever. If you're in Google Docs, and I'll go into a Google Doc and show you this real quick, but I don't know if you realize you can actually embed a drawing right into Google Docs from Google Docs. And the reason why you would want to do that, here, I'll start on it real quick. Just keep going in the drive, and I'll do new, and I'll do, isn't it funny when your brain moves faster than technology? It's like random. I think it's than Wi-Fi, really. We're moving faster than Wi-Fi, right? So let's say I was doing a book review or a book critique here. I could do insert, drawing, and I could pick one up I already have, or I can make a new one. And in here, it is basically a mini drawing canvas. It's the same thing as Google Drawings. And what it'll do, you can just real quick go in here. I think the one if you go to, you can again, upload URL, blah, blah, here's search. And I think in my sample, I had the Among Us because the kids are all over it right now. And I can pick one of these dudes and I can be like, oh, that's my dude. And maybe I read a book on Among Us, right? And so you could tell the kids, okay, well, I want a picture with a caption, or I want you to analyze a chart, or I want you to give credit or source information. So what you do is you insert that, and then right here, you can draw your text box. You can have the kids fill, with the text box and say, here is my book on, right? You could give credit to authors, you could do whatever you want. And when you click save and close, it pops it right in there. And the kids can go back and edit that at any time. They can wrap text around it. If they click on this right here, book analysis, and you can just, they can just keep, right? And when the kids freak out because they're like, oh no, it's not, I tell them, click on it and try it this way. Click on it and try it this way. Sooner or later, they're going to find the one. One of them is like inline. This one's the inline. This one's wrap text, and this one, break. They call it break text, where it's going to pop it underneath. And you can see there's even more options. Like, gosh, the options are endless. So we just can't do it all. Slides gallery. If you want to showcase students with their pictures. So there are a couple. This was an avatar project I did with students where I had them create avatars for the Declaration of Independence, the writers of the Declaration of Independence. And I had 1, 2, 3 different classrooms in the Google Slides gallery where they had to post their avatars. So in this, what you would do is you would make a slide deck. You would put your student numbers in the table, right? You would just do 1, 2, 3, 4. The kids would find their number and put their avatar in there and then fill in the information. And again, you're like, oh, that looks like so much, but you make one slide and then you duplicate it. You duplicate it, you duplicate it, you duplicate it. So it's like copying and pasting. It makes things a lot easier. So this is just showing you how to do it, but you can see too, if I get further in, some of them made really cool avatars, right? I mean, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and then I had them vote. That's where the gamification came in. I had them vote on who made the best and most accurate avatar to the writer, and, who was your favorite and why was that your favorite? And it was really cool to see like what made them, some of them said, well, I think this leader would have really appreciated an avatar looking like maybe John Adams would be like, yeah, that avatar is so cool of me. I love him. Or they might just say, who knows what they're going to say. But it was really kind of fun for the kids. And I gave them a badge if they won. So we had one winner for each writer, and there were 5 writers of the Declaration of Independence. So that
Michelle, we have another question for you in the chat. Someone asked, Moro asked, can you add voice captions on Google Drawings?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure. So let's see. Let me see here. I don't see it there. Insert, it would be under insert, but there, you know what? I know how you would do it. Any voice clip, sound clip, anything like that you want, let me think. You could always hyperlink it to it, but then you'd still have to click on it to get there. Let me keep that in the back of my head as we go through. I know in slides you can do that. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but in Google Slides, you can add like I don't even know what I have, Slither.io. Emily, who's been on my computer? All right, sorry, I get very informal. Emily's like, that's my, here, let's take a look at this. One of my students created Tuesday trivia for the other students, so it's really cute. But there is a way to do it in slides, although we are getting off task. This isn't, so let me just see real quick. Insert, now, come on. Audio right here. And what you do with this is you basically upload an audio piece, right? So if you wanted to put the yay, I downloaded this from a free audio website, although I think you were looking for your own personal voice recordings, right? I think you were, but you could make your own voice recording in Screencastify if you have it. And then you could upload it here using insert audio. And then you would do, you would make sure that, yeah, this is going to pull any audio from your downloads on your computer. Yep. So that's that. Gosh, I have a couple cool tricks too. I don't know if you know, but you can take any YouTube video. Oh my goodness, I'm getting off track, but you can take any YouTube video and turn it into an MP3, a sound bite, and you can download it on converters. There's like YT to MP3.com. We'll do that for you. So there's a lot of cool, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure we can find a way, but let me keep going just because I want to make sure we get through everything. If you're interested in making a banner, a personalized, customized banner for Google Forms, you're tired of putting out Google Forms with their basic backgrounds, and you're over the, you know, they have a whole set of different images you can use in Google Forms, but if you use Google Forms as much as I do, you might be done with that. So you can customize your own. If you want to do that, you can use this as a template for you. You can just make a copy of it and then put your own stuff in and then download it as a, make sure you open it in Google Drawings first though, right? And then it gives you, actually this one isn't mine. I have it in the resources section because I found this template on another website. So let me go and I'll show you where that is too. Let's get into gamification because I think you guys are interested in that. So for gamifying with Google Drawings, you can consider using leaderboards. So one of the things I used to teach was Mount Everest, and we looked at, like, you know, climate, we looked at waste management, we looked at tourism in Nepal, we looked at deforestation. There was a whole bunch of different like mini lessons built in. And basically what happened is, as the kids worked in teams, they were in expedition teams, and as they completed these activities together on tourism in Nepal or deforestation, or look at this blog of climbers in Mount Everest and do a little analysis of it. As they did these activities, they would have to turn them in Google Classroom. And then I, as a teacher, would evaluate and say, did the team, but keep in mind too, I'm grading less papers, right? Because they're submitting as a team. They have one leader submits it. I look at the leaders, what they're submitting for the team. And if I approve of it, I move them as a group up the mountain. And I projected this on the smart board so they could see their team icon move up, and it became sort of like a competition where they were trying to race to the top. You can do this with anything. It doesn't have to be a mountain. You know, it could be the Boston Marathon. It could be a trek through the rainforest. It could be find your way out of a maze. It could be whatever you want. You just need to know that you can pick up their icons and move them, you know, and when they see each other moving like that, it also increases the pressure of time on task, student motivation, things like that. Also helpful is if there's something for the winners, right? So I have prizes. Of course, I like badges, and we're going to look at that in a minute, but some options that I've given for prizes this year are, you know, a session with the tech coach where they can have anything they want. They can talk, they can do, as long as it's school appropriate, they could do anything they want with the tech coach, say, I want to learn how to make a GIF, and I could go over how to make a GIF with them. And some of you are annoyed because I didn't say GIF, and I don't know, potato, right? You might say they could be a 10-minute teacher. They could take over the class for 10 minutes and teach them whatever they want. Again, school appropriate. Sit in the coveted teacher's chair for a half hour. Make sure they don't eat beans beforehand. DJ at class dance party. Sorry, I am very sarcastic. I can't help it. Okay, here's another option for gamification. Again, you can use this in many ways, and some of you might like ThingLink. You can do basically a ThingLink in a Google Drawing. You don't need the ThingLink website to do that. I just took the world map, threw it into a Google Drawing, and then I hyperlinked, but kept the text boxes hidden. So I basically made a text box in the parts of the worlds where we were going to be covering. And the kids had to, it was like the beginning of the year class activity, I was like, all right, here's your world map, try to figure out where we're going to be studying this year. And they had to go into the map and like click around and try to find out where in the world we were going. So, and all of these, you know, depends on where they click, would bring them to, oh, we're going to learn about Buddhism. And it just kind of was a fun, you know, you can do, it doesn't have to be a map. It could be anything you want, but you can realize when you do this though, when you put the text boxes in, you have to, I'll show you real quick. You have to go in here, you put your text box down, okay? And you're going to be hyperlinking, right, your text box to your website. So cats mystery, I have no idea. I always go back to cat. I don't even like cats. I'm allergic to them. So, but for some reason in workshops, I always resort to cats. I guess because it's a safe thing and they are funny. I'm waiting for this to move. There it goes. Yeah. So you just paste this right here, click apply. But now, oh, what we need to do is actually hit the space bar and then do the link here. And then up in the, see where it has text? This is the trick. You got to hit the space bar, right? Oh no, why is it not working? Maybe I need to, what did I do last time? Paste. And I did link. Maybe I have to do edit link. Hold on a second. Oh, I hate it when things don't work the way I want them to. Nope, it's not working right now. I wonder if they changed it or if I'm just doing it wrong. I don't know. There's a way. Well, when in doubt, my mantra is Google it, and we can find that if we need to at any time, but it's hidden links. You can just Google, you know, how do you put hidden links in, how to put hidden links in Google Drawings, and you'll find it. There you go. Screencast right there. So, and actually that was one of the best advice I've ever gotten from somebody was like, why are you asking us how to do it? Google it, Google it. And she's right. Like every time I hit a snag in anything, I Google it and I find the answers. It's crazy. It's awesome. We're very fortunate to live when we do. Badges are phenomenal. The kids are really into badges right now. Digital badges can make kids really excited. Again, you can make your leaderboards in, this is a Google Sheet where I inserted these, I created these badges. I'll show you how I made the badges in a few minutes, and then I can show you how to insert them there. But you want to think about digital badges for maybe a specific unit they've completed successfully. Maybe there's tasks they have to accomplish to get there. Maybe it's just, you know, something really cool they did. I don't want you to forget about those in the moment badges where like a kid asked like an awesome question. You're like, wow, that was a great question. Or they helped somebody, you know, in the room. You know, the little things that, you know, anytime you think, wow, maybe give them a badge if you can. I'm gonna show you this spreadsheet in just a minute, but consider if you're doing it for staff professional development, you can have teachers, if they want to, they could put their badges in their email signature. It gives you an option to put an image there, and if they download their badge as a PNG, they can upload it into their Gmail signature. When you give a badge, especially to teachers, if you're going to do it for teachers, email it to them So that way, if they decide they want to do that, they can. I recommend emailing it to kids starting at grade 2 even. Just say you had a really great whatever, and email them that badge. So that way too, if they want to print it and put it on the refrigerator, they can. If you could make, if you get 10 badges, you get a reward. Teachers could share it on social networking if they're super proud of themselves. So it's kind of a cool, almost like school spirit kind of thing. So I'm going to take you into the badge board right now. Here's some of our teachers and the badges. You can see, you know, it's kind of a leaderboard in that I'm trying to move the ones that have more badges towards the top, so but not, you know, isolate the other ones. Once you have badges like this, you can just copy and then paste it in, like, right, Control C, Control V, or right click if you're a right clicker. But to initially get them in here, the first time you have to do insert image in cell, and you would upload it, right? And I'm just gonna, I have no idea. I'm browsing through this computer for badges. Let me see, instead of all files, it's not gonna let me. Here, I'm just gonna type in here, badges, badge. Oh, bad, great. It's been a bad day. No, it hasn't. Badges. I wonder if I didn't do any badges on this one. I have a couple. Oh, I see one. Here they are. Superhero out of the blue. So I would just pick one of my badges. Again, these were a Google drawing, but I had to download it as a PNG. Okay, and then it's going to pop it right in there. That's the superhero badge. So for staff, let me move you guys around again. I'm going to play with this bar. Okay, see at the bottom where it says about staff badges, if you click in here, and then how do I get this thing to go? I think I dragged it all the way to the right. Sorry guys, you're great, but I would, oh well, I'm having trouble dragging and dropping right now. Isn't that awesome? Okay, there it goes. All right, so here's my about staff badges, and you can copy any of these. I left these up here, so if you want any of these badges for yourself, you can just, here's the badge, you click on it, it goes to great question, right? Click on that to open it. And then you can just do file and make a copy. And now it's yours, okay? And once it's yours, you can do as you wish with it. Now for badges right here, you're gonna do, if you click on the picture, you can do replace image and search the web. And now this is gonna be, okay. We're gonna search for cats clip art. Okay, clip art is going to be more of your cartoon kind of pictures, right? And I can throw a kitty cat in there. And again, I love you, Zoom, but here we go, replace. And there's my kitty cat. And if I want to change the color, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in just a minute from scratch. But if you're taking an existing one and you want to make it your own, this is just how to fix it up a little bit. So maybe you want to make it all, let's make it pop a little bit. Okay, like that. Here's the inner, so that was the shape. That's the pentagon shape. Inside of it is this picture that's cropped. And so this picture that's cropped, I could say, oh, I want that to be a color too. I want it to be yellow, and I want it to be bigger, right? And then here's my, I had a great question, but maybe he's a cat ball aficionado. I can't even, I'm not even gonna spell that all. I put a little emoji right here, right? And then I can rename it whatever I want. As soon as it's ready, I'll just go to file. Moving you around again. I'm gonna go file and then download as a PNG, right? It's gonna take it, it's gonna throw it down on my computer, and then I can go onto my Gmail and I could do plus, compose, and then I can throw that in as an upload. You guys probably know how to do this, but I wanna show you one thing in Gmail. If you haven't done this yet, down at the bottom of your Gmail, there's something called templates. And if you make a template for you got a badge. See, digital badge for you. You can actually have it where it's already written for you, and you can just change the basic text here. You can have all of your attachments and everything already in. And then all you need to do is, I know it's hidden, but see where there's a paper clip right there. And you just attach the badge that you want to give them to it, right? Sorry, I've got a bazillion signatures in there. And there's the student copy of the badge board. So that's pretty cool. And I'll just show you that one more step real quick is it's in the news section. You got to do save draft as template, and over here, save as new template, and you just call it badge for you. Again, if you're like, what, how do I, again, I have a lot of screencasts on how to do this stuff. And yeah, and you can find it on Google too. So that was replace my image. To build your own from scratch, let's just say I take all this out. And I do, actually, what I do is I usually start with a shape for your badges. I don't know if you're a circle person, triangle, whatever you prefer. Maybe you like diamonds. I used this, right? And the default color for the background is that light blue. But you can change that. Don't forget, you can set your page to whatever size you want, right? I'm going to go to the paint can. I'm going to change it a color. Then I'm going to go to insert image, search, and I'm going to do, this time I'll do Superman, right? And I'm going to grab a picture of, I'm going to do Superman. See, you could do a total search for Superman, or you could do clip art if you really just want strictly like the cartoons and stuff. So I'm going to take this little guy here. I'm going to insert him. But what I'm going to do is see the crop tool. It has shapes, and you can crop him in and adjust him so he fits into the shape, right? And then once you have him to the right, and again, don't forget, you can do layering. You can do, here, let me do this real quick. And then you can change your color. Here's red, make it bigger, make it even bigger, right? And then you can layer whatever you want. And then over here's your text boxes. But I actually like for the text boxes, these call outs where you put your like little explosions on it and say, whatever, great badge. And then here I can change. But, again, and you can type right in here, badge, blah, 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 badge. But the thing is that you can, once you have one basic template for a badge, you just go file, make a copy, and you just replace the images and tinker. And so if you want to try around with that, you can go in there and do that. Here's how to insert your badges into the leaderboard. You can also make certificates with Google Drawings. I've done certificates with the fastest typist, and I'm going to run. I know we're getting close, so I want to have time for any additional questions. But competitions I've run through a Google Classroom. That's all of our schools. It's like 4 schools in the district, K through 5. So I have competitions for them that are not for any grade. It's just for fun. And I have like 60 kids do this builds the ultimate burger or build the ultimate smoothie challenge. And you can see the fruits of their labor in here if you want to. You just kind of hear, these were the ones up for voting, and they could judge, they cast their votes to who was the best burger or smoothie. And you can just kind of see, kids K through 5 and the different levels of what they're capable of, or just trying. That's not for a grade. They just did it because they wanted to. And here's how to make a slide gallery using Google Drawings if you decide you want to go there. I did the same thing with ugly sweaters at the holiday season. I printed them out, hung them around the school. It was fun. Here's directions for students on how to do their ugly sweater. This was a template I recommend with the little ones, especially giving them this was a basic template, it's just a sweater background and the directions right there. And I popped it out to them through Google Classroom. and they layered whatever they wanted on it. So that was kind of cool. That's the ugly sweater badge. This is promote your competitions. If you have competitions, I actually made a video where I walked down the hallway and I showed them all their ugly sweaters because they weren't all in the school that I'm in. And then the last thing I want to show you, and I hope you're all okay because I can't see you right now, but if you want other drawing tools that go beyond Google Drawing, Canva is excellent. There's beautiful, beautiful stuff in there, already designed templates for you to use. Sketchpad is fantastic for the kids on the Chromebooks, and if they're artists, it gives them some real creative ways to use it. Google Canvas is part of the autosave Google Drive kind of thing, kind of like a Jamboard, but it has minimal stuff. But if you're working again with the younger ones and you want to give them an alternative, that's good. Sumo Paint, I haven't tried, but I heard really great stuff. Remove background.
Michelle, we have less than 5 minutes left, so just want to make sure that we have time.
Okay. Remove background is just super duper easy. If you want to literally take the background out of a picture, so it's blank, you upload the image and it will take the background out so you can use your picture. I did that to turn one of our coworkers into a superhero above the school. She laid herself out on a fence and I had to take the fence out. All right, image picker. This is if you want the exact hex number for the color. You're probably like, what are you talking about? But I should probably do questions first. Cool text is how I got my burning stuff. There's your cool text. You can create, it's super duper easy. And if you want a reward option, if the kids make Google Drawings and you have one kid that's chosen as the winner for something, this is actually a website that lets the kids make, you can just give them your PNG and they'll make stickers of them. So I thought that was really cool. All right, I'm going to stop sharing now. And we'll see if anybody has anything they want to talk about. And if they don't, I'm more than willing to show you anything, remove background or whatever you want. How's everybody feeling? Amy says she's okay. I got a thumbs up there. A lot of people with cameras off. I know, I get it. They're like, and I have no makeup on. Joe says he's good. All right.
Well, this was great. You presented quite an amazing set of resources for everybody. And there was a lot of information that you provided, and it's wonderful. So once again, I dropped the link to Michelle's website there in the chat for everybody. And you had so much information that I'm excited to myself even get in here and use some of your resources, which was
feel free on the website to dig in if there's like any parts that you're like, it's your help tool. I really want to try to make a badge, but she went way too fast. That's what the screencast is for. Go ahead and watch it again. I'll take you through all the steps. I speak a lot slower in the screencasts, but if you don't like that, you can use the speed up tool as well. You can speed me up. But yeah, I tried to make it so you can use things for yourself, for your kids, for your staff. I don't care. It's there for you to use as you wish.
So the archive webinar for this section this evening will be found on njcu.edu with our EdTech website. So I'm going to go ahead and then drop that into the chat so everybody can see that. And we'll take a look at uploading this and then adding this to the website so you can see the archive presentation. So you can go ahead and view this asynchronously again at your own pace.
Yeah, I just threw my email in the chat, but keep in mind, it's also on the website in that About Me section towards the bottom, just in case you're like, I don't know what she's talking about. Or you're like thinking about ideas and you just want somebody to bounce it off of, or anything you want. Okay. Awesome.
So thank you so very much, Michelle. We appreciate you coming out. And now if anybody is interested, got a couple queries in regards to professional development certificates. So if that's something that you're looking for, please send me an email. My email, I'm going to drop it in the chat, is sbana@njcu.edu. And you can request a professional development certificate. Again, I'll drop that in the chat for you. It's sbana@njcu.edu. And I'll go ahead and I'll have a professional development certificate created for you so that way you can have that if you so require. So thank you very much again for coming out to attend this webinar series this evening for the Department of Educational Technology, and we appreciate everybody coming out.
Somebody asked real quick about the avatar stuff. I'm going to put it in the resources section, so you'll have all of the material on how to do the avatars. Okay. Gotcha.
Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.